Good morning. Welcome to Josh's Jumpstart. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, and that is the mystery of success versus failure. Why is it that some people seem to be successful? Things just seem to happen to them easily. Anything that they do, they become successful at. It just flows to them. Whereas other people, it seems to be a challenge to them. Why is it that they have obstacles and challenges, and why is it that they, I don't want to say fail, but yet they do. At the end of the day, they fail. They don't hit their goals, and yet other people seem to succeed. And I want to tell the answer to that in a very simple story of two of my friends that I like to call Billy and Willie. So if you have something to write down, you can write down. We're going to go on a journey of what the difference between Billy and Willie. So starting off, Billy and Willie, they used to live in the city, and they heard of an opportunity to go off and they could build a home in only 4 months. And this sounded exciting. It sounded like an exciting adventure, and so they both were excited to go out and build these homes. And their time leading up to it, though, however, was different. So that's when we talk about the number one difference between Billy and Willie, because Billy accomplished his goal. And at the end of the summer, you'll see that, or the end of the season, whatever, that Willie did not. Billy built like a boss. Like, he was a baller, and he put in the time, and you'll see through the story that Billy ultimately not only achieved the desired result he wanted, but he exceeded it. And Billy was a builder, and Willie was like a wanna builder. He's kind of like a whiner. And we're going to learn the differences, why there was difference between the two. So let's start. Number one is preparation. Leading up to it, so let's write that down. Number one is that if we wanted to do a mark between was Billy prepared and Willie prepared. And at the end of the day, like on a scale of 1 to 10, Billy was a 10 in regards to preparation. Because Billy, honestly, they had given him a manual of things that he could be studying, of like, hey, this is how you build the house. This is how you swing the axe. And this is how many trees you have to cut down per day. Anyways, there's different things they were given in this manual, and Billy had actually read it and leading up to their 4 month time away, and Willie really didn't have any time. So between the two, maybe we'd give Billy on a scale of 1 to 10, we'll give him a 4. Because yeah, he opened it a little bit, but it wasn't really like really prepared for the summer. Some other things too, not just before their time out there, but each day that they found, Billy, in regards to preparation, he got up and he actually sharpened the blade on his axe before he went out and chopped down trees. And Willie did not. So when it comes like sharpening the blade, like honestly, we'd give Billy a 10. Sharpening the blade, give Billy a 10. Willie, we'd give him a 3. Because he didn't like sharpening his blade. It took more time. He liked his personal time. Like, I'm not going to sharpen my blade at night and in the morning like that. I don't have time to do that. I want to be doing what I want to do. I don't want to be sharpening my blade. And so Billy was sharpening his blade. In addition to that too, is that Billy would get up, and the company they were working with, there was videos they had of other successful builders and how they built their homes. And so, funny, but Billy would watch these little interviews of other successful builders, okay? And so he made time he watched at least 2 videos every single morning. So not only did he take time to sharpen his blade, but he's also watching videos of other successful builders. What did they do to be able to build these dream homes? And so in terms of videos too, give Billy a 10, okay? And then Willie, he was more like a 2. If somebody like got after him about watching a video, then he would watch it for like a day or 2. But as soon as people stopped bugging him about it, he wasn't really watching the videos. Okay, so anyways, that's preparation. Okay, so between the two, Billy was prepared every single day to be successful, and Willie, not so much. So, okay, that was number one. Okay, number 2 is action. So jot this part down too. So action. So over here was preparation. And number 2 is action, okay? This is one of the most powerful things. Preparation is obviously huge to be prepared to be successful, but number 2 is action. At the end of the day, if you look at the end of the first week, whatever, Billy because their goal, their objective is to chop down 7 trees a day. Okay? 7 trees a day. If you chop down 7 trees a day, at the end of the 4 months, you would have the projected house that the company wanted you to build. And here's the thing. At the end of the day, Billy, on average, not only had just 7 trees chopped down, his goal was 3 extra a day. His goal is, if I could just get 1, 2, 3 extra trees a day at the end of the 4 months, his house would be able to be 30% larger. And not that he wanted to compare, but maybe the house he grew up in was kind of a small house. So he's like, I wouldn't mind having a little bit larger living room, a little bit larger family room, a little bit larger kitchen, a little bit larger master bedroom. And so he thought, if I can just sneak in 3 extra trees a day, instead of having 7 trees, I would have 10 trees, 10 logs to build my house. So massive action is what Billy took. Willie, he knew that he was supposed to have 7, but instead of hitting 7 every day, it was like more of like 3 or 4. And so but he's like, you know what, I'll make up for it later on. Okay, I'll make up for it later on. It's not that big of a deal. It's only one day that I had 3 or 4 trees, and so on and so forth. But the thing is that as time went on, he was noticing that he was really off par to be able to building his house, because every day he was off by 2 or 3. And the exact opposite was for Billy. Billy was over by 2 or 3 every day, every single day. He always hit the minimum of 7, and he snuck in an extra 1, 2, or 3. His goal was 3 every day. So number 2 was action. So overall, Billy was a 10 in preparation. Willie was like a 4. Action, Billy was a 10. Action was, we'd say, was a 4 as well for Willie, okay? So number 3 thing is the right action, okay? Number 3 is, so is it basically, is it the right, no. Is it the correct action? Okay? Meaning, right action. I'm looking at my notes here. Dramatic pause. Because he was going after the right trees. That's what I had. Like Billy knew, because he planned on his day before, like he knew which part of the forest he was going to go to, and so he was taking the right action. Okay, so and he would select the right tree, and then he would go after that tree, and he would go after it. Whereas Willie was kind of like wandering around aimlessly and wasn't really sure which tree, and spent way too much time kind of wandering, trying to decide which tree to go after and how he was going to tackle it. And so Billy was prepared because he knew exactly which part of the forest he was going to go to, which tree he was going to start with, and how he was going to get going. Whereas Willie spent a lot of precious time when he should be chopping down trees, kind of meandering around trying to figure out which tree to go to. So that's very action. It's more of having a plan, and he worked his plan. Billy was prepared with a plan, and it was Willie who was kind of wandering. Willie the Wanderer. Okay, so that's number 3. So Billy would put a 10 here, and Willie, I guess, would probably put about a 4. Okay, so that's having a plan. Okay, so number 5 was the tool. Okay, so when it comes to the tool, Billy knew that he needed to have multiple tools to use when challenges came up when he was building this house. So he anticipated challenges were going to come up, and he took a little bit extra time to bring extra tools. And it seriously took him from the location where they were. Anyways, it took him longer because he had to bring in more tools. But the thing is, not if, but when challenges came that he was chopping down trees, Billy was prepared because they had the right tools. Because not every tree can be chopped down the same way. Think about that. Not every tree can be chopped down the same way. Sometimes you have to use different techniques and strategies to chop down different trees. So you have to have different tools to be able to do that. Billy was prepared. Okay, so Billy, when it comes to tools, 10. Willie had 1 tool. One axe, and that was it. He never really took time to bring in any additional tools. He thought it was a waste of his time. It's just cutting down a tree. It's not a big deal. So there's a difference. Anyways, Willie, we're going to give him a 4 as well, because at the end of the day, Willie used that as an excuse of why he wasn't able to chop down as many trees, because X, Y, Z. Whereas Billy was able to chop down different trees. Okay, so that was tool. Number 6 is method. Or sorry, what number am I on? Okay, number 5 is method. Okay, so here's the thing. When it comes to method, Billy actually would watch these videos the company provided of other successful builders. And what he found that successful builders do is they have this method of when you chop down the axe, you actually would go 2 swings down, and then you go 2 swings up. And then 2 swings down, and then 2 swings up. And because Billy took time to study other successful builders, he knew exactly why they were able to get more force, because there's only so much time in the day that it's going to take to be able to chop down this tree. But he knew that if he used the right method, that he would be able to chop down the trees even faster, because he was using the right kind of method. Does that make sense? So Billy studied the right method. We're going to give him a 10. Willie, we're going to give him a 4. Because, yeah, he breezed over the manual they gave him before he wanted to read the book, before he went out to chop down trees. But it wasn't really, he never really looked at it that much ever again. If he did, it was occasionally just kind of glancing through it. Not much. Okay, but here's my favorite one, number 6. Okay, number 6 is the energy in their swing. Okay? Because if you were to stand out in the forest and watch these 2 different builders, when Billy got a hold of that axe, man, he just swung it. And he was swinging his axe as hard as he could. Literally, the force and the energy that he took, I mean, you could just tell it that he was going to own that tree. And he would tell the tree, I own you, tree. And he would just when he took the axe, he would just, and he was just taking it. And he was just every force. Okay? When he looked at the tree, it wasn't like, I hope I can take down the tree. It was like, I own you. My name is already, he would carve his little initials in every single tree. It's like, you know what? You're going down. And I'm going to take you down. Whereas Willie, when he would swing his axe, but it was kind of like this, he was swinging his arms. Josh, you can't get mad at me. Like, come on. I'm swinging my arms. But there was a dramatic difference in how Billy took that axe and he swung it. Like, he swung it like, I'm going to take this tree down. Whereas Willie's like, I'm swinging. Kind of going through the motions. Okay? Picking up what I'm laying down? So when it comes to energy behind the swing on every single tree that he came to, Billy, we're going to give a 10. Willie, we're going to give a 4. Okay? So number 7, let's go back to, is timing. Or I'm not going to say time, we're just going to say time. Okay? Time out there. Because Billy had kind of grandioso plans, Billy actually showed up 30 minutes early to work every single day. Do you guys want to guess when Willie showed up for work every day? Willie showed up for work 30 minutes late every day. It's not that big of a deal. It's 30 minutes here and there. The crazy thing was when it came to lunchtime, Willie stopped working. He took his lunch early. It was like 20 to 30 minutes earlier. And the crazy thing is they kind of had their mapped out there. Yeah, you could have an hour for a lunch. But Willie's lunch, he started like 20 to 30 minutes early and then had the full hour lunch. And then maybe took an extra 20 to 30 minutes on the back end too. Like his lunch always wasn't just that hour. He always took the full hour and usually goes out a little bit early and a little bit late. to make his hour lunch really turn into like an hour and a half. And at the end of the day when they would stop, it was weird, but Willie would consistently stop chopping trees. He would stop working, like again, 30 minutes early, not that big of a deal. The crazy thing is Billy was the exact opposite. Billy, he showed up to work early, 30 minutes early. When it come to lunchtime, he never took a full hour of lunch. Never. Not one time did he ever take a full hour of lunch because he had these insane goals. He didn't want to chop down 7 trees a day. His goal was 10 trees a day because he wanted to have a huge house. He only had 4 months to build this house. Okay? You noticing something here? There's a dramatic difference between these two. And the crazy thing was at the end of the night, Billy, if he only had 9 trees, he's like, 9 trees is good. I want 1 more tree. Because 1 more tree turns into 1 more log. And then I can build my log house. And then I can have that extra space I'm going to want in my living room, my family room, or my kitchen, in my master bedroom, my extra garage. He knew that just putting in 1 extra hour a day at night, he would be able to have a much bigger house. So the time that these 2 men spent was different as well. Billy, we're going to give it 10 again. And Willie, we're going to give him 4. Last but not least is that there's challenges. Okay, so we're going to do this number 8. We're going to call obstacles. Because here's the thing. In building a house, there's always going to be obstacles. There's going to be that one tree that's going to be just really, really hard. There's going to be maybe one part of the forest that maybe the trees are, their roots are down there really hard, and it's really tough to get after them. Okay, and for Willie seemed to look for an excuse. It was always a new excuse every day. Something was wrong with this part of the forest. It would rain. So if rain came, man, ja era. Like Willie was like, oh, dude, it's going to rain today, So he wouldn't go out because they're like, you can't chop down trees in the rain? Are you serious? But Billy, regardless of what the weather was like, what day of the week it was, what the circumstances was, he chopped down trees every day. Regardless of what was going on, Billy chopped down his tree. He's like, you know what? I just have to get 7 trees a day, and then I'll be able to have enough wood to build my house. And the weird thing is that both these 2 men were storytellers. Willie would return home, and Willie would whine about, and then just fill in the blank. Whatever it was, Willie found some excuse to complain about whatever it was. Billy, because when it rained on Willie, it rained on Billy too. When they moved to a part of the forest that was maybe challenging, it was tough for Willie, and Willie just complained about it really loud. But Billy, it's kind of funny. Billy imagined in his mind at the end of the 4 months when he's sitting in his house, he imagined being able to sit there and point to the wall and look and show people, let me tell you a story about this log right here. Okay, this log, it was raining this day, and it was a challenge. It was a bugger. But you know what? I kept after it, and normally it takes me, a normal person take an hour, chop down a tree. Because it was a rain, people think it's going to take an hour and a half to chop down a tree, but this log right here, I did it in 45 minutes. See, Billy was a builder, and he was a storyteller, and he knew that he was going to be able to tell the story of why he was successful in spite of the rain, in spite of the part of the forest they were chopping down, in spite of the tools, in spite of management, in spite of any challenges that were coming his way. Billy knew that he was going to get his home built. And he decided every single day to make things happen. And the crazy thing is so when it came to obstacles, Billy overcame the obstacles. Okay, he was able to overcome them. Willie, we're going to give him a 4. Because he just sat and complained about the rain, about the part of the forest they were chopping down trees in, about whatever that area was, that he would complain. So here we have the 8 main differences between Billy, the successful builder, and Willie, kind of the whiner. And the crazy thing is, at the end of the 4 months, when the owner of the company came out and looked at the house that they built, Billy's house was beautiful. It was amazing. You could see that his house was 30% larger than what the company has set up. Like the company had this design plan of like, hey, this is what your house is supposed to look like, whatever. Like Billy's house was bigger because Billy put in the time to be able to have 30% larger of a house. And Willie's house wasn't even finished. You could dramatically tell his house the floor plan was a lot smaller, and he didn't actually really finish. It was like a half-finished house. So here's the question. Why? Why two men start at the same time building their homes? Why is one successful? And why is one not? Even though they're building homes in the same forest at the same time. When it rained on Willie, it rained on Billy. They're both given the same tools. They're given both the same manual plans to follow, and a book with tips and techniques. They were both given the same thing. However, there was a dramatic difference between both their houses. Why? Why was there a difference? And what we've talked about today clears up that answer. Okay? Just a quick recap. Number one, every single day, Billy was prepared. Billy was prepared to succeed. He had taken time every single morning to sharpen his saw. It takes 20 minutes. But for him, he wanted to be sharp. And he knew that the force behind every swing that he took would be even more powerful if he took a few minutes, 20 minutes a day, to sharpen his saw. Okay? He was prepared. He also had, so that's number one, sorry. Number two was action. Billy consistently, he knew that successful people do things that need to be done when they need to be done, whether he wanted to do it or not, whether he felt like it or not. He just knew that you have to take action. And he did. He not just hit the 7, but he got in a couple extra every single day. Willie didn't. Willie, you look at his numbers, he wasn't putting in the right amount of time on the doors, right amount of time in the forest, right amount of time swinging the axe. So the action that he took wasn't there. The right action or the plan. Okay, so the right action or the plan is Billy had a plan, a specific plan of where he was going to go in the forest. He knew exactly where he was going to go. He knew how he was going to get there. He knew which tree he was going to go through first, and he had a plan of how he was going to work his day chopping down trees. And Willie just kind of winged it. Willie was a winger. Okay, so number 4 was tools. Again, Billy had the right amount of tools. He knew that different trees require different tools. He was prepared for that, and he used different tools for it. Willie, same tool every time. Okay, number 5 was method. Billy took time to study other successful builders, and he knew what method works, what method doesn't work. And he took time to study other successful builders. So he studied their method, and he knew that by doing it a certain way, he would be able to chop down the trees faster with less amount of swings. Number 6 was energy. Again, humongous difference between Willie, who just go through the motions. Josh, you can't give me a hard time because I'm swinging the axe. But man, Billy, when he got after that axe, it was almost like a baseball bat. He would even step into it. And it was just amazing force. Like he was just like, there was power. There was power in his swing because he had energy and enthusiasm every single swing. Number 7 is time. Billy put in more time. Billy put in more time chopping down trees. Willie did not put in sufficient time. Number 10 was obstacles. When obstacles came, Billy was a storyteller. He said, you know what? This is going to be a pretty cool story to tell when I'm sitting in my house and I have my friends over and I can point at the log and I can say, you know what? He literally would tell himself, I'm going to be able to tell this funny story at the end of my time here. And Willie, he just chose a story to tell it now. They both, when it rained on Willie, it rained on Billy. But Willie just chose to tell that story now. He wanted to be a storyteller and explain why that obstacle was challenging and he couldn't overcome it. Billy just thought this would be a pretty cool story. When I overcome it, I can tell people how cool it was that I overcame this. Guys, this is a very simple story about two men that decided to build their own homes. And one of them took responsibility for what he was going to do with it, and the other one allowed himself to be a victim and wasn't able to overcome. So I hope that you watch this very simple video and learn about this very simple story between these two builders. You'll be able to learn, honestly, I want you guys to be more like Billy. Billy was successful. Billy was able to achieve his goals, and at the end of his time there, Billy had a beautiful house. So thank you very much. Good luck, and wishing you lots of success, that you'll be able to build the dream of your homes, you'll be able to build your plans, you'll be able to attack your plans and be successful and accomplish all that you want to do. Thank you. Have a great day.